Welcome to another episode of Fire for Effect, Grumpy Combat Veteran, somewhat daily podcast when I don't feel like writing. I just kind of jump on here and spin it a little bit, I suppose. Today, this is Will Selber, Lieutenant Colonel Selber, that asshole, whatever. I want to kind of talk a little bit about how people can help Afghans. I think there's a lot of Americans who are starting to understand that some of our Afghan allies, through no fault of their own, arrived on our shores. They arrived on our shores because the Biden administration decided to uphold the Doha Agreement. And by doing that and retreating, they created a humanitarian catastrophe that the United Nations knew was going to happen. And the reason why I know that is because I was in Afghanistan and the United Nations briefed the U.S. Embassy saying it was going to be a catastrophe. Afghans are some of my favorite people in the world. My experience is not everyone's experience. Let me just start by saying that. There's a lot of veterans who don't agree with me on this, and that's, hey, bro, gal, sister, whatever. If you don't feel the way I do, you've earned your right to say this guy's a jerk-off. Don't care. Really don't. You've earned that right. But for me, my experience with Afghans was great. I found them to be mostly hospitable, willing to learn, willing to try their hardest, and they saved my life a lot. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. Believe me, there's a lot of other things I'd like to be doing with my life, kind of like kicking it near a beach forever and working on my perpetual tan. But thus here I am regardless. So how can you help Afghans? I'm going to give you 5 different things. Okay, number 1, go to Google and just type in nearest Afghan market. Boom. And then go to it, walk in and go, I'd like to try the best Afghan food. Don't worry about what you're going to get. More than likely, they will be so happy that you're there and that they will help you buy something. And it'll be great. You could go to a dinner party, bring something instead of that boring whatever crap that they sell at grocery stores here in America, like bundt cakes and whatever nonsense. You can stand out by going to an Afghan market and buying like really good cookies and great fruit and all sorts of stuff, fresh naan. You'll be the hit at that party, let me guarantee it. Those people are really trying their hardest, and I bet they're first or second generation Americans. I shop at quite a few of them where I live at, and almost all of them got here since the fall. Number 2, the second thing you can do to help Afghans, you can give to nonprofits, okay? There's tons of them out there. I run one with my co-founder, Lieutenant General Hibatullah Alizai. It's the Afghan American Veterans Alliance. What do? We help Afghan vetted and screened Afghan security force officers, almost all of whom who studied here in the United States previously to the fall of Afghanistan, which we never supported, by the way, retreating. Not our org. That's some other org that does that. We didn't support that stuff. So we're trying to help them here in the United States. By how? We paid for somebody's green card application. Let's see what else. We also provide humanitarian assistance in Afghanistan through ways that I will never reveal, but if anybody wants to check it out, we'll show you some pictures offline. But yeah, we do that as well. We also try to step into the breach to help our Afghan allies by working with them on their resumes, by hooking them up with people that, where I live, are willing to help our Afghan brothers and sisters learn how to write a proper resume. How do I do an interview? Those simple building blocks of life that every American knows about, but is completely foreign to an Afghan refugee, or at least most of them. That's some of the stuff that we do. So AAVA, God bless. Global Friends of Afghanistan is a great organization. I am the deputy director of it. I think that they do a great job. They've been around since the fall. Jason, Houck, and John, Annie, and all the rest of them, Hosna. So they are, man, I'm so impressed. I've only been kind of underneath the hood for a little bit. But, they're really looking at the long-term future of Afghanistan, trying to put up, a government in exile, if you will, or leader, whatever's going on. I think that building some type of alternative government to the Taliban, even if it's in exile, is something that is worthwhile and is something that allows us to say they're not actually in charge. And it would cost nothing. I mean, the American government sneezes more money, today than. And if we were just able to give some money to that organization to really start helping us develop a government in exile, that is the long-term solution. Because you can't save every Afghan that's in Afghanistan. It's just an impossibility. It won't happen. But we can try to start creating a different future for Afghanistan that is what? For Afghans, by Afghans, because they have seen enough with guys like me promising them the future. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Anyways, great organization. Rebecca has been doing this work for a very long time. She was on our podcast. She does great work with Afghan female tactical platoon leaders. These are female commandos who are at the tip of the spear in the fight against terrorism. It's just like, she's amazing. And really, if you don't like me or whatever, give it to her. She's an all-star. The other one that I've always given to is No One Left Behind, because they've been around the longest. And so I always say that that's always just like giving money to any like big charity. So let's take a look at another one. Number 3, hire them. Hire them. Really do. Like, it's not hard. If you're looking to hire an Afghan, you could probably go through like the refugee services and just see if you need something around the house done. If you need to mow the yard, if you need any bitty stuff. Afghans are some of the hardest working people. Now, some of them don't speak English that well, but they usually have friends of theirs that will help them do it. You know, cash is king. So, you know, mowing the yard, you might have to show them how, but they'll do it just well. And if you need something moved, the greatest movers on the planet are Afghans. I will die on this hill. I have seen Afghans unload and load things my entire life. And it's some type of like, I don't know. They have some fifth or sixth sense, because they can just fit things into places that nobody else could imagine. So you hire them, you know, hire them. Number 4, you know, you could give money to refugee centers. They do a lot of great work. Their shock group is a little bit wider, and they're running out of money because of the Trump administration, blah, 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 blah. So that's something that you can do. IRC is still around. JVS, Jewish Vocational Services, is still around. Private charities are really going to have to step into the breach. And some of these, especially since the public refugee services are probably going to lose a lot of money unless there's a Democrat that comes back. Who knows? Maybe in 4 years. So private charities are great. Those that focus on refugees are wonderful. I'm sure if you Googled one in your local area, there's probably some. So that's always a good thing that you can do. And number 5, you know what? Just go meet one. That's always my number 1 is always like, go hang out with an Afghan. Let them tell you their story. No judgment. Don't go in there with like, I like Biden, I like Trump, or whatever bullshit. Don't do that to yourself, because that's not fair to them. They have their story about what happened. So don't you dare allow an Afghan to tell you how hard it was for what Biden did, and then you take an attitude by saying, well, you know what? The Trump administration signed the Doha Agreement. Nah, man, that's not right. Go in there and with an open mind, talk to some of the Afghans. They're human beings just like all the rest of us, okay? They've dealt with us a lot longer than we've dealt with them. So you're not going to super offend them. There's no like ritualistic thing that you need to do. They're human beings. Treat them with dignity and respect, and they'll overflow you with love. I guarantee it. I've been dealing with Afghans my entire adult life. And if you just take one step towards them, they'll probably take 15 steps towards you, invite you to dinner, and then play a game I like to call is feed the white man as much food as possible until he almost dies. So look, those are my top 5 ways that you can help Afghans. And I just want to thank everybody who's been watching or contributing to GCV, AAVA, all of our friends who are out there fighting the good fight, trying to get this issue up and running. We're all in this together. Even, everyone hopefully rowing in the right direction. You know, what happened in Afghanistan, Biden's decision to go through with the Doha Agreement, that rests on his shoulders. And we never, at AAVA or at Grumpy Combat Veteran, we would never, ever support something like that. Because if you support something like that, it seems to me that you're supporting the reason why the Afghans are here. This is GCV6, and I'm out.